Hey you guys, what is going on? How are you? It is right now Friday. Not that it matters, but I have a quick thing for you that I'm really excited about. I want you to go out and film the alphabet. This is an assignment I did in college that I really liked. What I want you to do is choose an environment. I chose the shop to do it, but choose an environment and look for each letter of the alphabet in that environment. Like, let's say you do your house. Start with the letter A and walk around and look for the letter A. And when you see it, take a picture of it and then move on to B. I like this one too. I'm not gonna lie, it was a challenge to do here in the shop. My rule set was this. My rule set was don't change anything. Like, don't move things to make letters, don't move things to make shapes. Just walk around and look until you find the letter. I like that because it challenges your brain and your eye to think in different ways. The first thing you'll do is you'll look for shapes, you'll look for letters, and that's fine, whatever. But the bigger challenge is to start thinking more divergently. Start looking at the shapes of things. And I think looking around the shop here, inside, the piping and stuff in the ceiling kind of showed there's a lot of letters you can take out of that. A was a challenge for me. I was like looking around. What I like about this is that the process of doing this brings in a lot of artistic concepts without even sort of realizing it. So you're gonna walk around and you're gonna look for letters and maybe you'll see A right off the bat, but maybe not. And that was my trouble here. I was like looking around and I couldn't find a good letter A. So if you start to get stuck, which may happen, change your perspective. Maybe get low and look underneath things, or get high and look down on things. Sometimes things will reveal themselves that way. Get under things, get inside things. Like, look around, be nosy, be creative, see what you can find. Sometimes, like, I would stand in there and I would just kind of like squint my eyes and look around, because sometimes when you take the detail away, the shape of objects starts to come out. So it's not about the thing so much as the gesture it has in space, which is cool because the things we make have to work on different levels. Particularly in here for furniture, the thing about furniture is this. There's a good article by David Pye that I could give you to read. It's kind of technical, but the point of it is this. If you're making an object, it has to work at different intervals. And I think his was 25:1. The point is basically, from far away, the object as a whole, like from 20 feet away, you want it to look good. You want the overall object to look good. And then when you get like to a medium distance, like 5 feet away, details start to jump out at you and you want it to be successful on that level too. And then when you get right up next to something like a foot away, that's, the overall shape doesn't matter anymore. It's where your details matter. So in doing this, I like to think about the whole thing. If you're looking at a room, kind of squint your eyes and just take in what are the big basic shapes in there. If you're having trouble finding a letter, then get a little closer and look around. Change your perspective, change your focal length, change how you look at things. I was looking up, I was looking down. I had a lot of trouble finding the letter S, like a lot. So I thought about cheating and I thought about taking an extension cord and kind of draping it down into an S. And I was like, no, you gotta play by my rules. So I was looking and looking and looking, and I walked back into the woodroom, and then I looked up and there was just this weird yellow hose up there making an S. And I was like, yes. So do that. I had a lot of success in shadows. Like the letter D, it was a door handle, but then the shadow of it made the other part of the D. So look at shadows. Look at the shapes that objects make as light passes through them. Sometimes that reveals really interesting patterns or the letter you're looking for. What I want you to do though, just go letter by letter, but only do one letter at a time. You may see things where you're like, oh, there's a good letter G. But if you're on E, go back and shoot it later, but shoot them in order. And the reason I want you to do that is there really is something to be said for focus, for focusing on one thing and keeping your attention on that, like looking for letter B until you find a good B. And don't get distracted by like, oh, an M. Go back to M, but work on B till you find B. And I'm not gonna lie, letter R almost made me give up. I was like, I need to do other things. I should stop doing this. And then finally, I was going into my office and I saw an okay letter R. But stay on one until you find a good one. If later, if you're looking for S and then you find a better B, awesome. Then you have 2 and you can choose from that. But going through the alphabet, just go one by one by one. It's a worthwhile endeavor. And that's really it. I like this exercise. I may next week do the same thing again on campus. Things that I find that make things easier. Organic shapes like trees and plants and things make good letter shapes pretty well. Some of the harder letters like A's and B's and W's, more architectural elements, typically you can find them in there. Have fun with it. Look around, see what you can find, and let me know what your rule set is. If it's going to be within your room or within your house or within your yard. I would encourage you ordinarily to go out and explore around. Wherever you live, you know, your neighborhood, your city, you can have a lot of fun with this. Given the current situation, do whatever is prudent, and yeah, I can't wait to see what you send me. I don't know how you want to put it all together. I'm gonna leave that up to you and your ingenuity. Send me an email though with your discoveries. If you want to composite them all into one image using Photoshop or something like that, that's cool. If you want to set them to music and make a video, that's cool. Use the email address for the class. If you're somebody who's not in my class and is still playing along, you can use one of those email addresses. That's cool. I'll still get them and I'll write you back and be like, hey, good job. I'm really excited to see what you've got. That's all I have for now. I hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see you here next week. Okay, bye.